Strut bar Megan Racing install on a RC350 2016. Should turn out pretty sick. Just grabbed it for his birthday as a gift. We'll see how it turns out. I'm gonna go grab the tools that we're gonna need for the job. We got our little homie. You trying to join the fun?
We're trying to get souped up. There you go.
Go and do a unboxing. Let's see. There it is after unwrapping. Still have the plastic film on here, so it will look a little bit better. Here's that part number again if anybody wants to grab the same one. But yeah, we're gonna start getting these off. I'm gonna grab the tools that you guys are gonna need. That way you guys know exactly what you're gonna need for the install. All right, this is everything you're gonna need. You're gonna wanna have your ratchet. You can have normal Allen keys, but we have this nice socket one. This one's gonna be an 8mm. And then we also have a short 14 and then also a long socket just to help. This should be all that you really need to do the install. It's pretty simple and easy. And yeah, that should be it. Right now we're gonna break all of these loose with that 14. We're gonna take off this kind of cup right here. We're gonna actually take that off, and the strut bar is actually gonna have this wire go inside the bracket, kind of like right here. It's gonna sit in the middle. But yeah, we're gonna get these off on this side, and then I'll can update you guys when we're there. So kind of give this a little bit of a wiggle. It might be kind of seated on there. Most times, nobody's ever taken this off, especially if your vehicle is newer. So kind of just shimmy this back and forth. Try to see if it's hung up. Yeah, we're just gonna wiggle this off though, and I'll update you guys when we get this off. There it is. It was just kind of tight right there with that seal, but you just give it a little bit of a prying and it'll come off nicely. But you want to be careful with this Toyota system right here. This can be pretty expensive to repair. And so for this grommet right here, you're actually going to have to get rid of this cup. So there's actually going to be a
let's see if you could see
slight grommet on the inside that you're going to want to kind of pry out. So right now we're going to work on taking these 14mm bolts off. And once you get those bolts off, you should be able to take this off of the bar. That way you don't have to deal with the whole thing right away, and just be able to get this kind of seated on there. Sometimes people receive their brackets backwards. I'm not too sure if these are backwards right now, but most of the time you just want to pay attention to having the flat part either in the front or back. When I do the install, I'll be able to let you guys know which way is correct, but hopefully it came just like this, so shouldn't be too bad. While he works on those 14mm too, this is his baby over here. This thing is super clean. Never really brings it out, but sometimes it gets to see the street. But yeah, this thing's super clean. Nothing crazy, but very, very show worthy. All right, so once you get those 14mm off, I mean, it's totally up to you, but I like to clean everything, make sure everything seats nice properly. It does come with this extra kind of spacer right here. I believe other people, they have removed it before, but we're probably just gonna leave it on just because that's what they wanted to have right there. So we're gonna just leave it there. But we're gonna get this bracket put on, and I'll get back to you guys once we got it on. So for this side, it's gonna be the exact same process. You're just gonna get those 3 14mm off. You're gonna wanna take this boot cover off, just kind of shimmying it back and forth. You're gonna have that little grommet for the wire like we did on the other side, and then you should be left with something like this, where you'll be ready for the bracket install. But yeah, super easy, super simple. I mean, this takes maybe 10 minutes if you're not messing around. And so there it is. After you shimmy it off a little bit, you're gonna have this connector right here. For any of you guys that are kind of curious, you're gonna wanna just get that pin that's in there. You might be able to use a little flathead or something, but you just kind of flex it down and push back. Super easy, super simple. And then yeah, you'll be left with this cover, and then you guys are just gonna wanna get that grommet off just like the other side, and just rinse and repeat. But yeah, this is probably the simplest way for you guys to be able to take it out. You don't need anything to cut. You don't need any pliers or anything. Just kind of move it with your hands and kind of pinch it, and there it is. And all this stuff too will be easily installable if you ever get rid of the bar or anything like that. You just rinse and repeat, put everything back. But this is what we're looking with right now. We're gonna grab both of the brackets and get those on there for you guys and show you guys the right way. So like most people say too, they ended up coming backwards, but it's not that big of a deal because you're probably gonna wanna take them off anyways. But you're gonna kind of just grab them like this, kind of let them seat on there, and just kind of give it a little bit of wiggling. Sometimes this stuff can be pretty tight, but I'll get back to you guys once we have it seated correctly. But the correct way to seat it is gonna have this back flat part. You're gonna want that facing the rear of the vehicle. You're gonna wanna have the circular part facing the front. So we did notice when we were trying to put on this bracket, then when we would set it on here, this kind of ECU relay fuse box, it kind of just sits right on the nipple right there. And we didn't really wanna modify this by any means. I didn't see anybody else have this issue, but it might just be that it's just that close. You can kind of see where it's nicking itself. So we had unloosened this 10 millimeter, I believe, and we shimmied it just a little bit with our hands, just pushing it forward. And it gave us just the clearance to be able to pop this on. It is a pretty exact fit, so you kind of have to shimmy it back and forth, but you guys can see that if you kind of angle it a certain way, you'll be able to get that seated. But yeah, there it is. We just had to shimmy it back and forth a little bit, but if you kind of give this front a little bit of an angle, kind of underneath, you guys can kind of see right there. It's really close, but we were able to move this forward, push it a little bit, and it fit just like a glove. So yeah, that's this is the bracket, and like I said, you guys are gonna want the circular side forward and to have the flat facing side to the back of the car. But yeah, we're gonna do the same thing to that side. Just take off those bolts and get those put on. So this one's kind of the same way. It kind of has that lip too with this kind of bracket right here, kind of holding down that relay. But for this one, you don't have to touch anything. You can actually kind of get it by going a little sideways. If you look, if you kind of get this lip right here underneath, it just takes a second. And get it to set perfectly just like that. And that's what you're gonna want, like I said. Have the flat to the back and the circular towards the front. But yeah, there's both of the brackets. So we're gonna get these tightened down. We're gonna test fit the bar, and I'll get back to you guys on that. It should look pretty sick though. The test fit, you're just gonna wanna, you can have it in the front or rear, but we kind of want the Allen keys in the front. But you're gonna kind of just put the bar right there, kind of slide that pin through. You got your nut on the back with the washer on each side, and you just kind of repeat the process on each side. But this is how it's looking so far. But yeah, this is gonna be the little washer. You're gonna wanna put it on like that. And then with pushing the other side, you're gonna wanna get your nut on right there. I'm gonna do that really quick. And so then, yeah, whenever you got your nut on, you're gonna just kind of tighten it up like this, just kind of to test fit it. It does have a little bit of slack in here for the bar, just so that it can kind of fit. But once you tighten it and kind of sandwich that bracket, it'll be all good. But we're gonna just kind of get it test fitted, but this is how it's looking so far. Looking pretty sweet. It's kind of cool too. This bracket kind of matches the paint color on this car, so kind of really fits this vehicle. But we're gonna get these bolted up. I'll give you guys the torque number too, but just get these 3 on each side, 6 bolts in total, 14. And yeah, we're gonna get it bolted up. After you guys get that plugged in, you'll be able to kind of run your wire however you'd like. We might kind of wrap this up, that way there's no moisture or anything can kind of get to this connector, but yeah, you guys can wrap it up however you want. It comes right out of this wire harness. Gonna have your little Megan Racing and your instructions. I believe this is gonna be your little warranty card, kind of like an appreciation for picking the product. And so evenly doing it will help even out the pressure and also sandwich that bracket that we had left in there that Lexus had provided. So now you'll be able to get it nice and snug and perfectly sandwiched in there. And so like I said, you're gonna wanna keep going until you hear that nice click with the torque wrench. That's how you know it's gonna be the perfect torque right there. And so then yeah, just make sure you do get the other 2 on there. Make sure you get them all torqued down. It's gonna be 49 foot-pounds of torque, by the way. And yeah, just repeat the process for this side. Yep, and then we're just rinse and repeating on the other side. Like I said, just getting these other 3 torqued down. You don't want to run around not getting these torqued. If you don't have a torque wrench too, FYI, you can actually rent one from AutoZone. or maybe call around. Maybe a buddy would have one. If you know anybody that does easy mechanics or slight mechanics, they should have one. They're pretty common. Pick one up from Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. They come in handy too for just about anything. And there we go. Should be all torqued down. So yeah, now we're gonna get these plugged in, these harnesses. You're just gonna want to kind of wrap them however you'd like, but you're just gonna kind of take it like this, grab it to where the ends on the top, and kind of just center it in there. Might be a little hard if you have a little bit bigger hands, but should be able to get it. And then just make sure you get it until you hear that click. Should be all good. And also, it might be good to wrap this up if you want to put maybe like a dust boot or a sock on there. There's nothing that I know any companies to provide something like that, but it should be okay. I mean, most of these cars, they have a lot of shields, a lot of protections against moisture and stuff like that. Even these connectors too, they have a lot of seals and proofs. But yeah, just kind of rinse and repeat on that side, get that connector plugged in, and then you'll be able to enjoy the strut bar. Kind of get all this wrap off there. And there it is. Looks pretty good. Kind of gives it that true sports car look that the car was kind of missing. And he does actually have, he ended up doing his calipers. He's got the high temp decals on there. And then he's also got a front lip too. Looks pretty sweet on here. So everything's cleaned up. Got it all finished. Fits like a glove. This is how it sounds too with the muffler delete. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys found it helpful in any way. Leave it down in the comments if anything was wrong or if you guys got anything to correct. But yeah, it's gonna finish it off. Megan Racing strut bar, RC350 Fsport.